Now, I know in my previous videos I have not used strong language, but believe me, this topic calls for it, okay? Now, we're about to address some real shit, some sensitive shit, some shit that may even make some people relive some things that have happened to them. Some shit that may piss some people off because they themselves are guilty of some of these behaviors. But we don't shy away from hard conversations over here, so let's go. Now, we've all heard of discrimination, but we are going to dive into something called micro discrimination. Now, this encompasses microaggressions, micro insults, micro invalidations, and micro assaults. And as popular as this language has become, some folks still don't know when they are being tried. Now, microdiscrimination is not always obvious in examples like, oh, you are so articulate, or wow, you show up with a different hairstyle every week. How'd you get your hair like that? No, it can be in the subtle ways that show up every day that we have been desensitized to because it's often excused as the norm or the unspoken culture of the organization, or, well, that's just how so and so is, so we just ignore them. Well, we're about to learn some things and start calling some shit out. Now, have you ever been existing, just doing your job, or a part of a group in any capacity, or entrusted to make a decision, lead an assignment, a project, whatever? And when you introduce said change, or present your decision, or complete your task, your knowledge, expertise, and capability was called into question? Yeah? Well, let's do a little call and response, okay? And when I point, I want you to say with me, that shit. Okay? So the first one. Now I'm just going to run this up the chain to see how so and so feels about it. Now, mind you, so and so has nothing to do with it. That shit. I'm curious to know what made you decide to go that route. I mean, I trust you, but I just want to make sure. That shit. Now, you're talking or presenting, and someone is fumbling and grumbling with something or purposely being distracting, trying to throw you off. That shit. Someone consistently interrupting with questions, trying to make you second guess yourself or show that you really know what you're talking about so they can feel comfortable enough to agree. That shit. Someone feels the need to find, and I do mean find, a way, anyway, to correct you or call you out, even if it's the slightest, most insignificant thing. That shit. Yep, you got it. Or how about this? The assumption of hierarchy. Like, you can't possibly be the one in charge. Wait, not you. You guessed it. That shit. Or having someone go above you, or getting multiple people involved to get their way when they are unhappy with the decision instead of coming to you to gain clarity on why the decision was made in the first place. You guessed it, that shit. All right, last one. Having someone ask or share personal details about your personal business that ain't nobody else's business, mind you, to gain empathy on your behalf that you didn't even ask for, to somehow show that you're so brave or you're so strong. Say it with me now. That shit. Now, believe it or not, there are times when this can be totally innocent. Very, very rare, but on occasion it can be. However, the point is impact versus intent. So even if you didn't mean to offend or insult or cause harm or put the safety of someone's job on the line, that shit still ain't cool and is indeed a microaggression, a micro insult, a micro invalidation, or a micro assault. Now, as a Black woman in America who's been on this earth for 40 years, I have lots of experience with both racism and discrimination. Lucky me. So I can feel what is going on and what is being said when it's not really being said. And I will tell you this, with my lived experience and also being in leadership for nearly 20 years, you do not need to justify what you have been made to feel. Whether it was discrimination in any form, racism, or just outright disrespect, it is not your responsibility to explain or attempt to make sense of anyone else's stupidity, ignorance, actions, or words when these things happen. Now, if you have never felt equipped to call this shit out, let me give you some examples of how you can do so. So, the first one, you can try saying, "Can you say more about what you meant by that?" See, this calls attention to the comment or question in a way that makes the other person take pause and think about the words that actually came out of their mouth. In many cases, people will catch themselves and know that you caught them too, and be apologetic or say something like, "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it." But some people are bold enough to double down on what they said. So in the first case, you can respond with, "Well, what you said did not land like you think it did, and it was actually insulting or offensive." And if you feel so inclined, you can follow up with, "I am open to meet one-on-one to discuss this further if you like." And in the second case, if someone doubles down on the BS, you can very directly say, "Your comment or questions are offensive. Are you intending to be offensive?" And if you need to take it above you, do not hesitate to do so. My pro tip is to always send any form of written communication. So send an email to both your supervisor and their supervisor detailing the incident and including what was specifically said. Now, not how, remember, we don't have to justify our why, but that it was offensive or insulting, and ask for a meeting with the four of you. Now, the second example of how you can call this BS out is, "So and so, insert name here, we have worked together for blank years or months. I am not asking that we be friends or that we even get along, but I show you respect and I expect the same in return. Now, I need you to not do or say blank again and fill in the blank with their behavior or their words. Can we make that happen?" Now, if you express this verbally, again, I am telling you to follow up via email or some other written communication, Teams, Slack, whatever your organization uses, to let your supervisor know what occurred and how you followed up. This protects you because there is now evidence, and if it occurs again, or if the person says that you did or said something that you did not, you have already established foundation of record with your supervisor. Or if you feel comfortable enough to do so, you can send a follow-up email to the other person and recap the incident and your verbal response to them and BCC your supervisor. Now, always have a separate, more detailed conversation with your supervisor. Last option I like to give you is to remind the other person of the rules or the policies of the company, the organization, or whatever the institution is that you guys are associated or affiliated with or belong to, okay? You can say something like, "Your words or actions are against our insert policy name." Or you can just say, "Against our code of conduct," or "against our code of community," or whatever the case is. And that their words or their actions could get them into trouble. Now, this implies that you are willing to escalate the issue, and hopefully this will inspire the other person to course correct. Again, still follow up with documentation. Remember, email or any other form of electronic communication is documentation. Do not be afraid to get other leadership involved, HR, etc. See, the mental gymnastics it takes us to navigate and survive the BS is astounding. But you cannot be afraid to do whatever it takes to secure your psychological safety anywhere you take up space. Now, they did not hesitate to cause you harm, so do not hesitate to create a safe space for yourself. I hope this helps somebody.